And hello and welcome to Collecting History. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I had so the new Superman movie's coming out this week. And I know that DC's talked about having a new show with the Green Lanterns. But what about some other shows? What about some other shows that might be pretty cool to have on the DC app? I know Marvel's done a heck of a job with that. Marvel with Moon Knight and Winter Soldier and Falcon and Loki, all these shows that they do, right? So if DC kind of got on that same, I don't know, I guess you could say, and did their own like that, what some other good shows could they be? So I wrote down a few of them I want to talk about. First, that does that sometimes. I have no idea why. But anyway, um, oh well. All right, how about this one? Dick Grayson, from going from Robin to Nightwing, the kind of the origin story behind that. And again, one of these things could be like a 6 to 8 episode type thing, like Marvel does. I think that Dick Grayson from Robin to Nightwing would be a heck of a story to tell, talking about how he goes from Robin to Nightwing. And I know they did a little touch on this a little bit with Titans, the TV show they had years ago, but this could be just a total origin story of Dick Grayson, going from Robin to Nightwing. And yeah, so the Titans kind of touched on that some, but it was just a whole show of the Titans themselves. But this would be a good idea to, I think, to show everybody how that happened. How about Doctor Fate? Doctor Fate's one of the most underrated characters out there. You don't see him much, other than he was in the Black Adam movie. I do know that, of course, but I think origin story of Doctor Fate would be pretty cool. I think people would tune into. How about Jay Garrick? An origin story of Jay Garrick. I know Jay Garrick was played by John Wesley Shipp, who is my favorite Jay Garrick. Because he's about the only one that's played him. But no, he did a heck of a job as Jay Garrick. But it would be kind of cool to have an origin story of Jay Garrick and kind of see how he evolved uh, from being the normal guy to the Flash, and it'd be kind of cool to see. How about Mister Terrific? That'd be another cool origin story. I know he's going to be in the new Superman movie. He was in the Arrowverse. They had those characters in those, but I think a good origin story of him would be absolutely fantastic. And also, Signal would be another one. Still a fairly new character, but I think a good story with Signal kind of origin and then to a show. I think people will really get into that. Really, I do. I think Signal will be a good one. And the final one I had written down. All these are mostly the good guys, right? How about a bad guy? How about Sinestro's going from the lanterns to his little evil self? What about Sinestro? That'd be a good show to kind of talk about his origin, going from the good guys to being his evil self. And I think those kind of be kind of shows that people I think would be interested in. Um, Characters you don't normally see that much, and characters you can kind of tell a story about, and you can introduce other characters along the way, and maybe spin off into other shows later on. But and then one show could lead to the next, and things like that. But kind of how Marvel does their stuff. I think DC could, if they get on this bandwagon of doing it, I think people would really enjoy seeing these stories and even way more than that. But comment below, what shows do you think DC should do? And until next time, God bless. I'll see you soon.